So I took the opportunity and went for a little spin in the wheelchair, and I expected it to be physically strenuous, but we were not out for very long. I think all told we probably spent 10 or 15 minutes kind of touring around our parking lot in the immediate area out front of our building, and I am short of breath. You really feel it in the arms. Obviously the arms are the primary sort of means for everything that you're doing, whether it's giving power so that you can go a little bit more quickly, or whether it's turning or anything like that. But on top of how physically strenuous it was, there was so much mental overhead that went along with it, which, I was prepared for it to be something new, but to have a completely different mode of movement, was kind of beyond my comprehension until I got into the seat. We're in kind of a specialized situation where we have some accessibility features built in. We have a very wide door that, even without the push button, is automatic. I tried to open the door as though there wasn't a push button, and that was difficult on its own. But we're lucky that when you do that, our door kind of swings. But beyond that, you've got a relatively ordinary parking lot. You've got a relatively ordinary sidewalk, and even like I was saying before, little things that you probably wouldn't notice, or things that you would take for granted if you were on foot, like a bigger crack in the ground or a bigger lip on the sidewalk. We went down to the end of our parking lot, and there's a noticeable ridge, and it was probably the most strenuous thing that I did while I was in the chair to just get over this little ridge. It's big enough that when you drive over it in your car you feel it, but walking over it you wouldn't even think twice about it. Well, getting over it in the chair was extraordinarily difficult. It really was a real challenge. Well, it's so interesting that you think of barriers and you think of this sort of like abstract concept, but even more immediately, and something that I really didn't appreciate before I started, was the actual physical barriers that you might not even think twice about. I was talking earlier about the slightly bigger than normal crack in the ground, something that you might walk by 1,000 times and not even think twice about. But the first time I sat in a chair, I was physically closer to it and saw it because I was so focused on where I was going and I was looking right at the ground, and B, the wheels catching it right away. And all of a sudden, what seems like a relatively normal piece of municipal maintenance, that the sidewalk has a crack in it and they haven't gotten around to fixing it yet, is a big barrier for a person who uses a wheelchair. So I think it opens your eyes a little bit to just the actual physical barriers that would present to a person in a wheelchair, and just how much we take it for granted when we're walking around otherwise. Well, we had an idea that we would go down to Tim's, and where our building is located, it's a short stroll over. The first challenge we were faced with was just how to get over there. When I would normally walk over to the Tim's, there's a sort of a little footpath. It's grass covered. I thought maybe we could try that in the chair. That did not work at all. The chair was not suited for grass, and so all of a sudden, what would be a regular route of travel is completely unavailable to you. We ended up going the other way and trying to get there from the sidewalk. Well, I made it about to the end of our driveway before we had to turn around because I was running out of energy. Needless to say, I'm not sitting here with a coffee. I never got one.